We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 267, I believe. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. How's it going tonight, sir?
Well, I am extremely tired tonight. We've just gone from celebrating my daughter's 5th birthday, and now I'm here to talk about wrestling with...
If it isn't the Scholars of Wrestling party champion, Mr. JML himself. Jamels, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great.
The apparent number one contender, or at least he's trying to get that with Brian. And with, you know what? With all your guys trash talking on Twitter and you saying you're finally going to be here, and
I'm here.
You're here. But of course, Brian's not here.
Brian is on assignment this week.
He's going on with all this bullshit about him not showing up. And he finally's like, you know what? I am going to show up. All right, I'll see you there. Where is he?
He took his ball and he went home.
I can't deal with this.
So, on assignment then.
What kind of...
He lost his smile.
Brian rarely smiles, so he doesn't smile. But we get the party champion ready to try and get the Scholars of Wrestling champion, but the Scholars of Wrestling champion who said he was going to be here and is not here? All right, I'm sorry. This is bullshit. I'm sorry. No way. Stop.
Stop. Hammer time. What?
I'm putting the show on hold for a second. I can't deal with this nonsense.
You're calling Brian.
Yes, I'm calling Brian right now because as a former champion who likes to make their title reigns completely interesting, Brian already calling out this son of a bitch and not showing up. I'm sorry. That's just the comings of a failing championship title reign in my books. You know what? I'm calling him. I'm calling him right now.
All right. I guess we're all Kenny Loggins in this moment because we're flying into the danger zone. Okay.
I thought we were Billy Joeing and you're starting the fire.
I'm apparently starting the fire with this one because I'm the only one actually having balls to actually call out Brian and him not coming on this show. Brian?
This is your reigning, defending, undisputed Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion.
You getting this nonsense from me?
May I ask his caller?
Gee, I don't know. A guy who actually likes to show up and put on Scholars of Wrestling. Scholar Tarek with Scholar Jeff and the guy who you've been trash talking on Twitter, the party champion, JML Lorusso. Where the hell are you, man?
I wanted to show this man who's been talking trash about me on Twitter how it feels. I've been saying the challenge for the last 3 weeks. Come on the show. Challenge me face to face. He wouldn't do it. So now he decides to come on the show. I've got some personal stuff. I need some time off. How does it feel, man? How does it feel?
I think you lost your smile and you're scared. That's what it is. Stop making excuses.
You think I lost my smile and I'm scared? Okay, you actually showed up, so you get your title shot on one condition.
What's that condition?
One condition. All right. Double or nothing.
Double or nothing?
Okay. If you win, of course, you are party champion and Scholars of Wrestling champion. But if you lose, okay, you are no longer party champion. You vacate the title, and you don't get to compete for said party championship at the next party at the next viewing party that we have. Okay? You want to talk shit on Twitter? You want to be a keyboard warrior? All right. That is the challenge. If you don't accept, no title shot.
Okay, well, the gauntlet has been laid down. Jamels, do you accept Brian's challenge?
Yeah, I'm confident in winning and taking everything from him.
Double or nothing it is. The challenge has been accepted. Scholar Brian, you're on.
All right.
You know what? Like I said, apparently we don't matter because, yeah, the title could be on the line, but hey, we have just as much chance of winning that party championship off you. You could win the Scholars of Wrestling championship, but we may have more points to beat you for that party championship.
Yes, that party championship is always in
the fact
flux.
that you, Brian, are just completely blowing me and Scholar Jeff off. You know what? No, I will not.
I'm not blowing you off at all because, as I've said, this is the deal. All right, even if it's just me versus JML, okay, doesn't matter who is the champion coming out of this. Okay, it's Tarek versus Jeff for the number one contender spot for the next pay-per-view, whatever that may be.
So that would be Hell in a Cell.
Or is it
Hell in a Cell?
So
Whoever
winner of this
whoever gets more points between Tarek and Jeff will face whoever comes out of
Clash of Champions?
Jeff.
Jeff.
As
So-
the champion.
So in other words, we're going to be Bray Wyatting this thing. Or
Yes.
Tarek and I. All right. I accept this gauntlet. It'll make things nice and interesting.
I don't like your chances because. All right, Brian, I'm going to let you go because
Yeah, let him go. I've had
you're-
enough of his talk. Let's hang up on him.
Oh, wait, what? What is that?
oh,
I've had
you're
enough of his talk.
you trying to talk shit to him and not showing up is just being very, very uncool on your part. So on that, I'm hanging up on you. Bye.
Hypocrite.
Wow. Strong words from everyone, really. Wow.
I'm sorry. Now that I got... Okay, he's done. Even though I have plenty to still say about him from last week's episode. I watched last week's episode, and shame on you for, one, getting the pay-per-view title wrong, which you didn't even watch. You didn't even look at our comments. I had to go on our scholars... the comments section of of that video and tell you it was Clash of Champions. You were calling it Night of Champions the entire show, and you were all saying the prediction show is this week. What kind of host are you?
A forgetful one.
Yeah, do your damn job right. And the same thing with you, champ. You get your shit together as well. You're supposed to be the champion of this show. Do your goddamn job right. That's why I'm the best one on this show. I am the one that these two are trying to reach the same level as me.
Yes, we all know you're better than both the salami and the bologna combined. We know.
Which
And you
the
know
stats can back up those claims.
the baloney is what Brian just said on the phone. That was a bunch of baloney.
Malarkey even.
He's salami.
Hogwash.
Have you watched the show a couple weeks ago? We've already compared our show to Wacky Deli. He's the baloney, and he's the one that ends up. See, Brian was on the phone. Salami.
I was being attacked through the phone.
He is salami, and very soon he's going to beat you to death with my cell phone. I don't know why, but because it was him on my cell phone, he's going to be one bursting out.
Wow.
God, I have to do everything. I'm not even champion, and I'm already doing so much more than these two can do.
All right.
You're just here because you're a guest, and and you have the potential to actually.
Thank
You actually have the potential to be a sit.
I could be a contender.
You're a sit. You have the potential of being a sit. Scholar in training.
Scholar in training. But you know what? I think we need a little bit of time to breathe. We need a little bit of levity, and I know just where to find it. In a little segment we like to call Backstage News.
Indeed. Let us go ahead and do what we always do. At least I always do. And go ahead and peek behind that curtain and check in on a little...
Backstage News. News. Echo, man. Well, you know what?
You know what? No matter how many times we keep adding in that meh, I'm never gonna like it.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm a sucker for tradition. But you know what?
That's a tradition
Sometimes
that just should never have been in the first place.
But you know what? Some traditions and some memes just simply must be, because we need to talk. We cannot talk this week in wrestling without talking about the one and only AEW champion, the newest and inaugural AEW champion, one Mr. Chris Jericho. And oh boy, what a week he's had. From memes galore to winning the title and then losing the belt in an Outback Steakhouse, or leaving an Outback Steakhouse. Longhorn Steakhouse. I couldn't get past the steakhouse. But you know what? We cannot talk about Chris Jericho this week without indulging in the meme of the week, and having a little bit of the bubbly. That's right. I'm going there. We're all going there. We're having a little bit of the bubbly while we're discussing Chris Jericho.
Not him. He's a child.
Straight edge society.
Yes, straight edge and supposedly better than someone, though we have yet to determine whom, but presumably just the rest of the people at this one party. But yes, we're watching AEW. We're seeing all of the shenanigans that happened with Chris Jericho and the AEW world title. What was your reaction, play by play, to everything that was happening here?
Questioning, did he really lose the belt, or is that just storyline purposes for Cody Rhodes to insert himself into the main title, the main event picture at what was the name? What's the name of the November event?
Full Gear.
Full Gear. That's right, Full Gear. Please, Cody, don't pull a Jeff Jarrett. Don't be inserting yourself in main events and just giving yourself the title every opportunity you can. Your wife's already doing that. We don't need to have you do it.
We don't need you inserting yourself, thank you.
Gross.
Yes.
Give me some of that bubbly.
Yes. Here, have a little bit of the bubbly.
Michael Bubbly.
Water.
Cheers. Enjoy your water.
Thank you.
Be a responsible
Power
man.
of the clear liquid.
Clear liquid. Cheers to you, Chris Jericho. A little bit of the bubbly. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
No.
I
Bubbly.
like myself some of the Champagne.
Some of the bubbly.
Some of the bubbly. Some of the Michael Bubbly.
So yeah, what
Sorry, that's what I
this
do.
bizarre series of
sorry.
events. I know you're not sorry. That's why I'm not telling you to apologize. So anyway, what was your reaction to this bizarre series of events? I, for one, did not think that this was, just due to the way that it was handled, I was fairly certain that this was totally legit. And just given the way that how fast the turnaround was, how it was handled, yeah, I'm inclined to believe that this was fully a work that was turned into a shoot that was turned into a work, and they're just rolling with the punches now.
Well, I got to applaud that cop that took a picture with the belt when they found it. Excuse me.
Yeah,
That's all I really don't have much to say about this. But the memes that I have seen are hilarious about this, with him bringing out the Michael Bublé.
So I think in AEW's defense of everything, I think it was great because, like, they got that AEW title more over than the Universal title has ever been over.
Agreed.
at least right out of the gate.
It was trending on TMZ, everything. Like, think about that. When's the Universal title ever trended?
It's trended when it first debuted, and people were laughing
How
at
ugly it was.
Yeah. I mean, it eventually got over slowly just by being a mainstay of the show and who was holding it. But the AEW title, I mean, if you want someone to make noise about your product and get the most random things over, including the phrase a little bit of the bubbly, you bring in Chris Jericho, and so far it's working like a charm.
Yep. It's just like very much reminiscent of like WCW bringing in Hulk Hogan. It's kind of what Chris Jericho is for AEW. It's the superstar that they kind of need to elevate everyone else. So,
well, the one difference that Chris Jericho has over Hulk Hogan is he's not gonna basically take full control and be like, "Yeah, this is not how it's gonna work. I'm the one that's in charge. It's my way. I don't see this way going." It's pretty much what Hulk Hogan did when he, pretty much the later WCW years and eventual TNA/Impact.
Yeah, bizarre series of events, but thoroughly entertaining to watch. And, of course, we had, the memes, the glorious memes to entertain us all week. I have to ask, so here's a quick Scholar's Quick Talk question for you all. Favorite Jericho meme of the week?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I actually have to look it up because, like I said, I've only seen maybe like a couple and it's just really glanced over. But you know what? I'll answer this another day on Twitter. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna post it. This one.
Well, I'm gonna flat out say I don't think it's ever going to beat the Limp Bizkit one. The timing was just too good.
yeah.
Right now, the only one that
I agree.
I need to see that one because I'm not gonna pick the
Mambo number 5.
No, I was not. It's like, I'm not going to pick the Spice Girls.
But you need to have the right timing. And as funny as that was, it wasn't as good as it could be.
Like, I actually haven't seen the Limp Bizkit one.
I'll show it to you after the show today.
Okay.
That's good.
But yeah. But yes. Allow us to be one of the first to say it. Chris Jericho, thank you for being a noble champion and for being as good as you are at what you do, including making memes. Thank you. Thank you. A thank you from the Scholars of Wrestling show. But elsewhere, we need to take a look at the rest of the world of professional wrestling, specifically the two big flagship shows of the WWE, starting with Monday Night Raw, and especially the King of the Ring situation, where at the end of the night, it was revealed that due to some crazy shenanigans with a double pin, next week on Raw, we're going to determine the winner from the representative side of Raw. We're going to have Samoa Joe, Ricochet, and Baron Corbin in a triple threat match next week to determine who's going to go to the grand finals.
But before we talk about the triple threat, let's talk about like the I'm getting so confused when it's quarter or semi. It's the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Quarterfinals.
I always get those two mixed up. It's the quarterfinals. The first one, Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander.
Oh my goodness.
That was that's been Baron Corbin's best match ever. At least it was
unbelievable.
It worked. It was good wrestling. It was basically Alexander sort of carrying the match, and that's how I saw it. And just, it's kind of a similar situation that when Elias and Ali on SmackDown, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yes.
But in this one, it's both guys definitely worked with their advantages, and with the whole story of Cedric being taken out by the OC club beforehand. Obviously, now we know where that's going to head, and keeps going. Now, Baron Corbin wins. Like, at least it's like he wins, even though Cedric Alexander was 100%. So it protects Cedric.
Yeah.
And now Cedric actually has something afterwards for this, and of course it's now like Corbin just keeps going in and sitting on that throne wearing that stupid crown, and it, like, you could see, like, I was like, all right, I guess I can see it. But then Ricochet and Samoa Joe happened, and that match was just awesome. To the surprise of no one, because we know both of these guys can put on great matches.
My pick for match of the night, match of the week, rather, easy.
It's up there.
It's up there?
Yeah.
Is your pick for match of the week elsewhere?
Yeah, when we talk about SmackDown.
Oh, there we go.
If I see where you're going with this, that's up there too. But anyway, continuing on,
and of course, even though they both got pinned, they both look strong, and technically Corbin is right that they both took each other out. But I actually do prefer this way of them having it be a triple threat match, and I like the fact, because at least now it's from what they announced of them bringing back the draft, we're slowly disappearing the stupid wild card rule, and Samoa Joe shows up on Raw, and shows up on SmackDown. I'm sorry, damn Bubbly. Shows up on SmackDown, and in my opinion, they hint on what the final is the potential final is going to be for Clash of Champions. And thinking about it, I actually kind of prefer that to be the finals, but we'll announce what that is when we talk about SmackDown.
Okay. But yeah, either way, I'm actually very impressed with the way this is going so far, the King of the Ring. It's a lot more engaging than I'd expected it to be, given how lackluster some of these most recent King of the Rings have been.
You could tell that this is definitely someone else. This is not a Vince McMahon announcement, King of the Ring. Mm-hmm. This is them making it a legit tournament. Even bringing the prestige videos of like past winners and can go on. I just wish the winner would be getting something more than just a king gimmick,
Who knows?
A crown, cape, and scepter. But you're right. Who knows? But from what they've been doing these last couple of weeks, it looks like it's just them basically turning them into what Booker T did and Sheamus did, and Wade Barrett did. They just became king someone.
I can see that. However, given if the rest of this tournament hasn't been as good and as engaging as it has been, I would share your concern. But the fact is that this entire King of the Ring tournament thus far has far exceeded my expectations. I am thoroughly enjoying and am really expecting to see great things from this. I'm legitimately looking forward to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's bringing me back into Raw next week. Well, that and one other thing. But yeah, I'm loving this, and it's giving me hope for what could happen in the finals of this tournament.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments?
Yeah.
Guest?
What I would say is it's made people, even in their losses, relevant.
Well, except Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but he kind of parlayed that into like his new angle now with Shinsuke.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll talk about SmackDown. Like Andrade still looks like $1 million. Shelton still is relevant, right? I don't know. I just think has it like Cedric we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's seen Ali. They all are doing something. They've been elevated by this tournament, and you haven't seen that. It's kind of like New Japan style booking.
You know what? Now that you put it that way, it really does. It's that same sort of refreshing kind of atmosphere, and it's got the back and forth, the competitiveness, the athleticism. Yeah, this is. I can't tell it though if it's very reminiscent of what we normally see out of New Japan. However, I cannot tell if it's reminiscent more of New Japan or reminiscent of the way the King of the Ring used to be, if that makes sense.
It's kind of a mixture of both, really. I mean, they brought back the King of the Ring tournament just to respond to the praise that the G1 got this year.
Okay, so classic tournament with new school sensibilities.
With the Cruiserweight Classic elements kind of
Thrown in there.
There you go. I can see that. And you know what? Whatever you call it, however you quantify it, I'm enjoying it immensely.
Oh, as am I.
Just as I am also enjoying Lacey Evans finally picking up a win, this time over Natalya. It's the little sassy southern cherry on top of the sundae. It was a good week to be me.
Yeah, and it's a good week for only you in that sense. I tried to watch this. I'm like, okay, let me see what Jeff is trying to see with or what he is seeing with Lacey Evans. I'm gonna watch this match. Barely 2 minutes in, I fast forwarded this match. It was a okay match. I just couldn't get into either of them because Natalya's right now just been booked to basically shit, and for me, Lacey is just too much of just a cookie cutter character. I just don't feel any dimensions in her character to really get invested in.
Yeah.
So in other words, you want to get more dimensions so you can get into her. You want to get into Lacey Evans. You are wanting to get into Lacey Evans. I'm just trying.
I didn't say that. I'm already into Lacey Evans.
Gross. Does your wife know
that I'm a fan of Lacey Evans? Yes, of course.
That you want to get into Lacey Evans?
My wife is already into Lacey Evans. We're a Lacey Evans friendly household, sir.
Oh boy, you.
One day we'll get the shirts.
I just don't understand why she's a Southern Belle character when her real backstory would make for a more interesting character that the fans could actually relate to.
Because heel. I guarantee you, as soon as they want to push the button and turn her face, she will gravitate into that role like a nice lacy glove. I guarantee you she can just pull the U.S. veteran card, and just go up against the heels and easily switch into that role, no problem. I love her character work. I sincerely do, all joking aside. I think she's a very strong character, even if you're not a fan of her in-ring work. She's very much like an Elias type character, I feel. So she's absolutely got her niche, and once she does, she will fit in that role nicely. And that's about as serious as I'm going to get with the Lacey Evans talk from now on.
And I'm going to end the Lacey Evans talk with that one with we talked about it earlier, at least the relevance of the title, the Universal title picture, which opened Monday Night Raw with an attempted contract signing between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. And I've heard the criticisms on the promo that these two had back and forth. I will say it began in a way kind of sloppy, where Seth is going on, and I'm just like, you're kind of losing me, dude. Can you just get back? But once they actually set in motion what they wanted to say to each other, I was into it. And yes, people are complaining, oh, people don't really talk like that. But my response is yes. Well, they're not. They're representing. They're cartoon characters. That's
wrestling.
It's wrestling. They're cartoon characters. Just listen to what they have to say. Of course, they're going to be spewing out. What's the word? Catchphrases for their shirts, because that's what they do. Hell, even in the Attitude Era did that. I mean, Stone Cold. That's the bottom line. What? Stone Cold said so. What?
Awesome 316.
Yeah.
Everything out of The Rock was a catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's for people to complain about that is just basically you're just trying to find something to complain about it. Yeah, and they're comparing it to what AEW, New Japan, and NXT did with their shows this past weekend, which I'll just say right now, I've seen 2 of the 3 shows. I haven't seen the New Japan show yet, but I've read the results. I've read the reviews. Good praise. I'm glad. Again, we're getting wrestling. We're getting good wrestling. And yes, this is WWE wants to put them. At least Vince McMahon wants to put WWE as sports entertainment. But at least they stepped up with the wrestling, because, like I've said for a long time, they right now have the best roster that they had in a long time,
maybe ever.
Maybe exactly, maybe ever. And
it's certainly
at least
up
they're
there.
stepping up with the wrestling. Now they're basically doing another draft with creative. Like some people are going to Raw, some people are going to SmackDown, some people are going to NXT.
Not a shakeup, an actual draft.
They announced that they're going to do an actual draft closer to when SmackDown goes to Fox, NXT comes up. They're going to do a legit draft, and like I said earlier, they're going to just completely get rid of the wild card rule, which I just say hallelujah from me.
It was on borrowed time as it is.
Yeah, I've always loved the separate brands just because their roster, all in all, is just so goddamn huge. It's it's the best idea to have them be a separate brands to basically make stars. And where the hell was I going with this?
It's not special when you
I just got I'm like, what
Yeah.
What were we talking?
Catchphrases.
Catchphrases. That's right. We're talking about the opening segment. I'm like, wait a second. How am I?
Sweet sassy molasses.
It's like, wait, where? It's like I'm going on about this. Where did this stem from?
It's okay. It was good.
It was good. It's a
good.
It's a legit argument.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's right. You should applaud me.
We shouldn't be encouraging him.
But you do, because you know I'm right. But back to Raw. Yeah, they had a pretty good promo that these two characters had to go off one another, building into this match that they're going to have at Clash of Champions. And AJ Styles comes out with the OC and does another awesome promo, pointing out the bullshit of why Braun Strowman's #1 contender, the bullshit of Gallows and Anderson not getting a tag team title shot, the fact that AJ Styles is United States champion, yet he doesn't have
An opponent.
He doesn't have an opponent, which
Yet.
well, yeah, after what they did with Cedric Alexander, you know that's what they're going with.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, what I loved about this whole segment is, yes, AJ put on an awesome promo, Gallows and Anderson put on a tag match against Braun and Seth, and of course the champions won. Because honestly, like, I don't feel like this really hurt Gallows and Anderson. So maybe a little more Anderson is just because of the whole Vince McMahon booking of you're small, so you got to fight the small guys. Once you face the big guys, you're kind of there. You're kind of worthless. But and like I said, the champions win because they're the champions. Of course, they need momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And the brawl that happened afterwards, and the miscommunication. Of course, it's gonna happen. It's not like he did that intentionally. It was just a miscommunication. It's not like, oh yeah, I secretly did it on purpose. Adding to what I was saying last time I was here, that they're obviously not turning them. They're not turning either guy's heel.
Be stupid.
It'd be stupid. Stupid.
Unless it was
stupid.
Seth.
But he beat Brock Lesnar. He's gonna be a face for a good while. And of course you have the random tag team thrown together, which because I wasn't here last week, I hated the tag team turmoil just as much as you and Brian did. But just mainly because I kind of wanted the final match to be the OC Club versus the Viking Raiders, and the Viking Raiders finally getting out of the squash match thing to get a good match against Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, because we know those two could actually put on a great match, or those four can put on a great match if they actually tried. But at least Rude and Ziggler came out to attack 5-on-2, and the villain stood tall after my big complaint happened last week of basically all the heels looking like a bunch of bitches, especially the OC. They needed this. They needed this to actually.
I will agree,
because they got a big screeching halt of their momentum last week. I'm like, okay, this put them back on track.
And beating up Cedric. Too.
And then beating up Cedric even adds more to that. Which now, once Finn Balor comes back, I want him to be a part of it. But that's just me.
I think that's a long ways off if they decide to pull that off.
Agreed, but that's just me.
Utility for him, in my opinion.
And now you add in Bray Wyatt inserting himself in the Universal title picture with another great Firefly Funhouse.
The best one, I think, ever.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's absolutely up there. It's engaging, it's funny, it's weird.
I give it a toss between this and when he actually first introduced the Fiend. He's like, you want to know my secret? I think it's a toss up between those two for me. But for the Firefly Funhouse, I love that because he's like, they throw a little meta humor of bringing the Vince McMahon doll, and he's like, see how much money I'm making?
Look what I'm making, boss.
Which you liked my tweet on this.
That was fantastic.
You saw my tweet on what I think should be the whole backstory of the boss puppet.
Yeah, of Bray Wyatt eating Vince McMahon.
For those who didn't read my tweet, I basically, it's like, imagine they reveal that after, and it actually fits with the storyline.
Yes.
After Vince McMahon got taken out by Roman Reigns, the next week they introduced the Firefly Funhouse. So I put this whole elaborate scheme in my head that Bray Wyatt abducted the Mr. McMahon character, because it's the character, of course, abducted Mr. McMahon and turned him into the boss doll. And now Mr. McMahon is now forever trapped in the Firefly Funhouse. And the boss doll is Mr. McMahon.
The only problem I've got with that is that if this is true, Bray Wyatt and The Fiend will canonically be the most powerful beings in WWE world.
That's what they're aiming for, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're aiming for, and I think that's what they're going to continue aiming for next week with them announcing Stone Cold Steve Austin as the moderator for the contract signing. Which, back to the contract signing, Seth signed the contract, Braun didn't, and then before Braun had a chance to, AJ tore up the contract. Now Stone Cold is going to be the moderator, and I think, yes, we're going to finally have them sign the contract and it's over. Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, comes out and plans to attack Stone Cold, but how I see it going to happen, Stone Cold actually he can now take a bump. We now know that with the Becky Lynch stunner. That's another meme all over the internet right now. I see Stone Cold actually basically holding his own against Bray Wyatt, hits Bray Wyatt with a stunner, and then immediately after, like he gets up, he falls, Stone Cold gets up, immediately spider. Pretty much his Bray Wyatt's new sit-up is spider walk. And then attacks and takes down Stone Cold Steve Austin. Pretty much is a way no sells the stunner and continues showing his dominance as the most powerful thing in WWE.
If they pull it off right, this could be absolutely amazing. I can skyrocket Bray Wyatt to another plane. If it's not pulled off right, I'm afraid people are going to dump on it because of how much Stone Cold is loved.
Stone Cold is a huge fan of Bray Wyatt. He's been a huge fan of Bray Wyatt even before the Fiend character. He's going to put Bray over hard.
And I have one other thing to add. The next night on SmackDown, you have The Undertaker. Who's to say he doesn't come out for The Undertaker?
I don't think he's going to come out for Taker. It's going to be a Firefly Funhouse for Taker. Building up their match for Survivor Series.
Oh.
It's not. They're not gonna get interacting one at all. It's just Firefly Funhouse saying, "Hi, dead man," all that. I haven't forgotten what you did to me. And in a way, Undertaker is one of the biggest factors of Bray Wyatt's downfall. Really, at least the original Bray Wyatt character.
Very interesting. Not sure where they're going to go with this. If they do go that far out, they'll be absolutely bananas. But again, it's one of those things where it just seems too good to be true. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And Rambling Rabbit needs help, but Bray Wyatt just pushes him aside.
We pay no mind to that small rabbit behind the mirror.
No one cares about Rambling Rabbit.
What did Bray say about Braun and Seth? Like they wronged him before in the past?
They wronged him in the past, yeah. Even though, well, Braun probably because he betrayed. Well, not really betrayed, but it's like, okay, you've gone on your own. You've pretty much forgotten where you came from, I guess. Because remember, they had that little interaction when it was the Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series. Well, I think, was it last year?
Yeah.
Something like that,
yes.
I think.
But yeah, they've acknowledged that Braun, it's like he used to be part of the family, but he went his own way. And I'm going to point something out that's even more funny about, speaking of the Wyatt family, but that's for SmackDown.
Okay.
But all in all, I loved his presentation for Seth and Braun, and just, I'll see you in hell. Let me bye. Let me in. I'm sorry. That actually adds more to Raw that I'm looking forward to next week. There's the semis for the King of the Ring. There's how they're going to set up the U.S. title match. Apparently, and the final angle, which I'm sure you wanting to think, which was the big story that ended Raw and continued on to at least the opening to SmackDown, and that's, we'll use this as the transition from Raw to SmackDown, and that's Sasha Banks coming out, or Becky Lynch coming out first and basically calling out on Sasha's bullshit. Sasha came out, put on a better promo than she did last week.
Which doesn't say much.
Actually, well, for me it does. Actually pulling, people are saying that this is now the legit NXT boss character to the main roster, which to an extent I can agree with. I'm still not a fan of Sasha Banks. I don't know if I actually ever will. She's not Nikki Bella hate for me, but she's close. She has to do a lot to gain my thumbs up. But and then the whole main event is set up to be Becky and Bayley versus Nikki and Alexa Bliss Women's Championship Brawl, which concept alone I'm like, well, yeah, I'm actually okay with this. And they planted the seeds with, as I call her, Fish Face Charlie, basically planting seeds. Oh,
I call her beautiful.
I don't. She looks like a fish to me.
Yeah, a sexy fish.
Fish that you would like to grill and eat, fool?
Okay, this analogy is completely going off the rails.
He's not denying it, though. But
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Charlie pulling in her, as people calling it her mean character, because when she interviews people, it's kind of like a backhanded compliment. It's like, oh, how do you? We haven't heard anything from you about Sasha. How do you feel from what she said about how the women's tag team match the women's tag titles means nothing to her? You were her tag team partner. How do you feel? Well, Sasha feels how she wants to feel. How do you feel about Becky Lynch overshadowing you? It was like, God, Charlie, plant these seeds even more. Why don't you? As soon as she said, I'm like, Bayley's turning heel.
So what you're saying is that you're not a fan of planting the seeds with Charlie Caruso?
No.
No?
At least not that hard, Charlie. Oh, back to that.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to get. And that's all you deserve. And then you get to the main event, which, of course, the women's tag titles are pretty much now booked to complete shit.
It's an afterthought.
Oh, it's titles that Vince McMahon didn't even want, and it's obviously showing right now. The only time Vince McMahon actually ever gave a shit about the women's tag titles is the idea of the Bella Twins winning it.
Yeah.
And
jumping bomb angels.
For me, thank God that didn't happen. But you get this tag title match. Becky Lynch looks strong. Sasha interferes. It starts attacking her with the chair correctly, other than smashing her head with the chair while doing the chair beatdown. That's something I'm never. Yeah, Bayley shouldn't have put her head up. Becky shouldn't have put her head up with those shots. But Sasha should have stand in a better position where the head wasn't even in the line of fire. But that's me venting.
Be that as it may.
And then Bayley's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it! That's not." Oh, all right, I'll join. You're my best friend. I love you.
You're my best friend. Smash.
And then she starts smashing Becky with the steel chair, and Dr. Shelby wins again with them hugging it out after the chair beat down. I'm sorry, I had to do that again.
Bayley's like, let me smash.
And Bayley tries to be the... Okay, now we transition to SmackDown Live.
Wow.
High budget special effects on this show.
Yeah, right.
We have a budget of 10 cents.
We have a budget?
Yeah.
That's
all 10 cents of it.
It was
probably in pennies.
spent on the bubblies.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Hell, the bubbly was free.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
We are so pathetic. All right, but back to... At least he is. All right, but back to...
Hey, fine, no more bubbly for you then.
I already fit. It's okay. No more bubbly for anyone.
Yeah, at least not on this episode. Next week, see how you like it.
I'll bring my own bubbly, thank you. And it's a nice big bottle of Verdi.
Okay, then.
Verdi. Okay. But now Bayley starts going on of how she explains, like, oh, I'm still a good guy. I'm still a good guy. I did it because Sasha's my best friend. And you never turn on your best friend. That's what a role model does.
Right.
And I'm a good role model. I'm just showing that the SmackDown Women's Championship is much worth shit as the Raw Championship. Right? Do you guys love me again?
Yeah.
Huh? At least I'm not worse than Charlotte, who is just extremely selfish. Huh? Which brings out Charlotte. It's like, yeah, I'm selfish, but I don't need to do what you did to show how awesome I am. I just am, which, yes, she is. I know how you and Charlie feel, Jables, about Charlotte.
No, I think she's the best women's wrestler going.
You know, when we actually start showing live reactions on our viewing parties, I think you and Charlie's reactions will say otherwise.
No, it's the looks. It's her looks. She's the horse.
No, we're not going to go that on the show. No, we're not going that far. I'll just cut you off right there. Remember, you're the guest. We are cutting you off. Yes, you may be the party champion, but you're not even holding that championship with pride. I go off on Brian about that being
boy.
the Scholars of Wrestling champion, and you're the party champion. You're the second tier. You're the second tier belt, and you're not even doing it. You're holding the belt correctly. You're not. All we got right here. See that little red dot? There we go. Put that belt on your shoulder right now. Hold that championship with pride.
Be a man, Hulk.
Thank you. No. Put it on your shoulders.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's why I'm the best on this show.
You're better than both the salami and the bologna combined.
That's true, Betty.
Hello.
Hey, bologna! But going on with SmackDown, they beat down Charlotte with a chair. Here's a Scholar's Quick Talk for you. After this segment, and then Sasha comes out. Wow, so many. Charlotte tries to defend herself by attacking Bayley, and Sasha and Bayley beat down Charlotte. Is this a potential face turn, or at least leading to a face turn for Charlotte?
I hope not.
I doubt not. Just because I don't see the value in her turning face, but the possibilities of her as a heel are nigh infinite. So they would need a really, really good premise to turn her face. I just don't think it's there yet.
Rivalry of the Four Horsewomen of WWE?
Winner take all.
Well, they're splitting the brands again, so that there is no all in that. The only winner take all was during the wild card rule for WrestleMania and the triple threat at WrestleMania. That's the only time they actually could ever do a winner take all. Probably just a battle of the horsewomen until the MMA horsewomen show up, and then we have to unite against them.
Rah, rah.
WWE.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm about this until we get to the end game with this feud.
And then there's that one chair shot again. Oh, now because I thought about it, Sasha smashing Charlotte with the chair. Granted, this actually is Charlotte's fault as well. Charlotte rolled and took a chair shot pretty much to the chest. And I'm just going, oh, that's probably not supposed to happen. Shame on Sasha for I get it, she was under momentum of smashing the chair, but come on. And Charlotte, shame on you for rolling on your back to take these chair shots.
Charlotte's buoyant enough.
Yeah, with her boob job, they probably just bounced.
Yeah, see, she's safe.
But yeah, that was the transition from Raw to SmackDown. Bayley's a heel. Bayley's a full-on heel. I hope she actually changes her character and her theme, and no more. What do they call them? Bayley buddies.
Sure.
She should pop them.
Right. Well, I don't know what they're trying to. It's like.
Oh yeah.
It's basically stabbing. It's like killing. I'm still a good role model, right? I'm still a good role model. I'm a good role model. I'm a good person. I'm such a nice person. You deserve it. I'm still a good person. All right, get back up. All right, moving on. Lacey Evans versus... Didn't she fight someone else? Who did she
Someone
fight?
say Lacey.
Yeah, that's the only way to get you up.
Hey.
Didn't she fight someone on SmackDown?
I don't think so. Either that or I got home from work late.
Or was that last week?
I think that might have been last week, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, it's the only way to get you up. But let's talk about the SmackDown.
Yes.
King of the Ring.
Yes, where, much to my surprise, Elias defeated Ali.
I'm honestly not surprised at all. I mean, they got to keep a Shane McMahon boy in this tournament.
Fair enough.
He's not making the finals, but he's going to be close.
And elsewhere, which I believe
was this your match of the week?
Chad Gable defeating Andrade, which was a very pleasant surprise and a very good match.
Good job, host, completely blowing off me asking him a question and him defending that answer. So
I figured that's what you're alluding to.
Chad Gable's just been on fire.
Oh, it's Chad Gable Andrade.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I thought for some reason it was
No.
Ali and Elias.
No.
Which, back to what I was saying with Baron Corbin, this was Elias's best match ever.
Well, then again,
just-
he's also in there with Ali.
It's very much it's for him and Corbin. It's depending on who you're working with, and it's two great competitors. Okay, and Elias won. Kevin Owens is probably going to take him out next week. Going to be the reason he loses next week.
Okay.
And then now we got Chad Gable and Andrade, and this match was goddamn awesome. And the best part is no one gave a shit about this whole Chad Gable's a small person.
For once.
No, they're still going on with it. It's just the people just don't give a shit about it because they know Chad Gable's an awesome wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And he put on an awesome wrestling match with Andrade.
That's not hard to do. Andrade is probably pound for pound the best worker in WWE, arguably, but he's up there.
I'm going to argue Cesaro, but he is up there as well. But yeah, I'm right now definitely leaning towards because they just keep going with this Chad Gable being a small person and everyone's kind of overlooking him, no pun intended. And continuing what I said earlier about Samoa Joe showing up on SmackDown, basically eyeing the competition, I think the final for King of the Ring is going to be Samoa Joe versus Chad Gable.
Ooh.
Honestly, I'm going to go with the same thing.
Because you don't see Baron Corbin showing up on SmackDown, like planting seeds for what could potentially be the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And in my opinion, that I think that would be a great match.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to see Baron Corbin in the finals. I
don't want to either.
I still don't think he's a great it works character-wise, but he's still that. He's just a character. He's still not a good wrestler. He still doesn't deserve any real main event pushes. I want his character. His only real accomplishment is beating Kurt Angle in his final match. I'm not saying he's retiring Kurt Angle because they would have added the stipulation. They wouldn't have added the stipulation. It's Kurt Angle's final match if it's I him. All right, I've already let that part go of my life. Stop bringing it back. I like the idea of Baron Corbin just being the guy who just keeps getting these golden golden opportunities. That's the word I'm looking for, and just completely fucking it up. He did it with Money in the Bank. He done it 3 times fighting the Universal Champion. I can't think of anything else because he's that irrelevant.
It's enough.
But it is enough. Because now we can say Damien Sandow does not have the worst. I still don't think he ever had the worst cash in.
He had a great match with Cena.
Yeah, exactly. And people are still saying he had the worst cash in.
Because Baron Corbin was that forgettable.
No, this was people are still saying with Baron Corbin that Damien Sandow still had the worst cash in. And
I know,
I still don't see it.
Exactly, and because I'm honestly convinced that people keep forgetting about Baron Corbin's cash-in because it was that bad. At least, like we said, Damien Sandow had a great match with Cena, which is why you remember it.
He's not just because he's the patriarch of our show. He actually did. It was a great match. It just sucks because he became a victim of circumstance for them merging the 2 world titles at the time.
Yep.
But yeah, back to this. Chad Gable. Again, they're pulling this up. It's like, oh, what a surprise win! Even though Chad Gable has already accomplished so much in his career, at least in tag team wise. So why is this such a shock?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and at one point he actually had Andrade beat, if it wasn't for Zelina Vega. But so yeah, I'm just ignoring the commentators. I'm ignoring the potential of him actually becoming Shorty G, which is what they actually trademarked. WWE actually trademarked.
Which I hope they don't follow through on. I really, truly don't. But either way, this is shaping up to be an incredible King of the Ring finals match. Hopefully, Samoa Joe versus Chad Gable is what we end up getting next week. But hey, we'll have to see next week. But until we do, we had a new match announced where Eric Rowan completely loses it, setting up for a match between him and Roman Reigns at Fortnite of Champions. What do you think?
I know you just did that on purpose, so I'm just ignoring you. So, but do you see this as a Daniel Bryan face turn? Actually,
Yes.
I think this actually,
I'm going to say maybe.
at least it's in line for a face turn. I mean, him actually standing up to Eric Rowan. Rest in peace, his long lost twin brother Derek. Yes, he's still trying to get the apology. He actually does stand up to Rowan and actually in defense, maybe not in defense of Roman, but it was that in the end. When you look at it, it is him standing up to Eric Rowan for Roman. Even if that wasn't his intended goal, that's what it became. So in a way, yeah, it could be a face turn. And it gets cheered. Well, to us hardcores, he gets cheered anyway. So I wouldn't mind if he actually does do a face turn. And it's now the idea of Eric Rowan versus Roman Reigns at Clash of Champions. And no disrespect to Eric Rowan, I don't think that's going to be a great match.
And I have more hope than I thought I would when this match was announced, just because I like the way that they're portraying Eric Rowan.
Oh, I do too. His promo after beating Roman on SmackDown was awesome.
Good.
It was really good. I actually liked it a lot. It's just now going back to what I was hinting at before with the Wyatt family. When you looked at the 4 members of the Wyatt family, Eric Rowan was always the last person you would think that would actually get some real momentum going. And it's such a shame that it actually is one of the best wrestlers that was in that group. Luke Harper is now getting the short end of the stick. Hopefully, whatever contract dispute he's in, he could actually show up and, be worth a damn. What are you looking at? You kind of threw me off guard. You're just looking up. Ceiling.
Ceiling, yay.
But yeah, it's such a shame out of all 4 you see 3 members of the Wyatt family, from Bray Wyatt to where he is being the best thing in wrestling, period. Braun Strowman in the main event picture. Eric Rowan facing the face of the company, Roman Reigns. I think it's just because he's a big guy, because Vince McMahon loves the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you think, okay, if Luke Harper was in that position, you would think Luke Harper versus Roman Reigns, that would actually be a really good match. Not Eric Rowan versus Roman Reigns. But sure, this push that he's getting could do wonders for him, and good for him on it. I just have a big, strong feeling that it's gonna not be a great match. I don't even think I think it's gonna be a very quiet match. The audience are not really gonna be in this match, at least for most of it, until the final run of the match. Like, oh, okay, now we're actually getting good stuff. Yay!
Yeah,
unless
still
Rowan
hoping.
beats him, that would be shocking.
Yeah, right.
There are no titles on the line, so I think there's the faintest chance that could happen, but ultimately, the faintest chance. But ultimately, I do feel like it's because we've got one more week until brisk afternoon of champions that I think it'll depend on how the build goes from there. But for now, for what little we've got, I'm actually impressed.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So yes, that was this week in professional wrestling. The good, the bad, the indifferent. Now is the big question of the week. Raw versus SmackDown Live. Which one was the better show this week?
Let's start with our guest.
What do you got? Which one do you think was the better show, Jamels?
I'm actually going to go with Raw.
I
liked pretty much everything on Raw. I don't think anything was filler. And I think Firefly Funhouse puts it over the top.
I am going to second that opinion. Although SmackDown Live had absolutely nothing to sneeze at, Raw, there's moments when Raw has, like you said, very little filler, and everything from top to bottom feels very, very solid. And this was one of those weeks, so I'm inclined to go Monday Night Raw this time around.
And it's going to go for 3. I'm also going to choose Monday Night Raw, but I'm just going to make it perfectly clear. I loved both shows.
Mm-hmm.
Both shows
Bingo.
were awesome this week, compared to last week where I thought both shows sucked.
And we didn't even talk about Kofi and Randy.
Yeah,
on SmackDown,
Kofi and
which
Randy
was
that was
another
stupid.
unbelievable.
was just another great promo from Randy, which Kofi proves him right. It's like, you've fallen for every one of my traps, and he falls for another one. And now we're gonna have that big moment where the New Day come together at Madison Square Garden and take down the Revival and Randy Orton. Which I'm just gonna say, I love the Revival and Randy Orton as a group. I hope they actually stay as a group after this, or like as
Partners? Friends?
Friends. Yeah, we'll go with friends. But yeah, that was also awesome. I can't really think of anything bad that come out of this week. Like, yes, I'm upset that Cesaro lost, which Brian even referenced that on Twitter. That yes, it sucks that Cesaro lost, and it really does. But when you look, he even said it. When you look at the long run, it's the Miz that actually needs the momentum going into Clash of Champions against Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't necessary. He did not look bad. It was, once again, where even in defeat, he looked strong.
It served a purpose.
It served a purpose, and he had an awesome show at NXT TakeOver UK.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Cardiff, yeah.
yeah, it was so good. Such a great match. I actually watched that match like dozens of times with a pillow over my crotch to hide that just enormous erection I had. But yeah, all in all, both shows were awesome. It's just Raw had moments that had bigger moments building into Clash of Champions and beyond with Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse.
There it is. Now you've officially heard what we think. Now is the time in the show where we turn it over to you, our listening and viewing audience. Which one do you think was better show, Raw or SmackDown? Who do you think is going to be in the finals of the King of the Ring? Who do you think is going to win? We want to hear from you about all of these things and more. So drop us a line wherever you are, all across the internet. YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, wherever you are, especially on the Twitter machines. Starting with Scholars OW for our main account for all the latest episode uploads. And you can also follow us and join the discussion more in person on our personal Twitter accounts. Starting with you, Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avatar.
And Mr. Jamels, where can they find you on Twitter?
At the JML Experience.
And you can find me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. Things are heating up in the world of wrestling, especially now that we've got a title shot on the horizon for the Scholars Wrestling Championship.
And the number one contender between you and me, Fool.
I'm going to have both titles over my shoulders.
We'll see about that.
Hey, yes, we will see. Because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
See you all next week for Nice and Easy Brunch of Champions.